Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is that you are watching this. Somebody is blowing up my phone. But today is just a live stream straight into the Facebook group. So for those of you that catch it live, thank you so much. Let me know you're here any way you feel like it. It doesn't have to be the hashtag live. It can just be emojis. It can be how you're feeling today. It can be what you think of this question. I don't really care. It's fine. And if you are catching the replay, again, you don't have to drop the hashtag replay, but you can drop whatever you feel like it. But it lets me know if the topics that, I choose for the live streams, if they're good ones for everyone. And I did post in the group asking what type of topics you want me to go live about, things you want me to share my perspective on. So be sure to find that and post some comments there. We already have some people who have commented. So these will be things that I'm taking into account as I move forward with these live streams. Remember, these live streams are meant to be 10 minutes and I'm already 1 minute and 30 seconds in. So I'm going to do my very best to stick to that time frame, at least in terms of the content delivery. If I get questions in the comments, then I may stay on longer to go ahead and answer those questions. And so that's just kind of the process that I'm actually going to go through, get through the content so everybody who needs to leave can, and then to go ahead and answer the questions for everyone who's able to kind of hang out. So just again, thank you so much, Krista, for being here. I've got some watchers. Yay, it's so exciting. I love having watchers. Thank you for your time. So let's get into it because I got 8 minutes left. All right. So what is a brand? I wanted to examine this, and I have been examining this almost from a philosophical standpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you all some of the things that have come to me based on my own lenses and lived experiences. And what we're going to talk about today goes beyond the colors. It goes beyond talking about brand strategy. It goes beyond talking about brand values, and actually looks at the impact that your brand can have just by existing and the impact that it has when you create it. So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and explore is something I call the brand core. Now, you've probably heard me talk about this before, but your brand core starts with your why. Hint, hint, why workshop. That's why I keep talking about it, because it's so important. But yes, so the brand core, it's made up of your why and the layers of your why, which we go over in the workshop, your audience, the people that it is you're trying to serve, and then your offer. Those are all the things that kind of go into your core. You may experience a change in offer and audience, but your why energy is largely going to remain the same, which is why I consider the why like your inner core, and then your offer and audience part of the outer core. The reason why the brand core is important is because it actually generates something else that I call the brand energetic field of influence, or the brand magnetic field of influence. And so this is actually taken from real science, guys, in that if you look at the core of an actual planet or planetary body, the core generates the magnetic field of like planets. So what's in the energetic field, though? The energetic field is where your people are. It's where your audience is, right? And so that's why I also like to call it the magnetic field of influence, because your influence is what attracts people. So your brand core generates that energy, that emotional marketing, branding energy that attracts people to you into your field of influence. They become your audience. And the closer they are to the center of that field of influence, the more you can actually influence them. Now, what happens in that field of influence is largely up to how you build the brand core. So a brand core can actually be built without values in mind, and it can still be incredibly strong. So one of my favorite examples is, okay, we are building a brand around helping other people build successful businesses. Well, what's your definition of success? So if it's just profit, you can build a strong brand with a very attractive, very magnetic brand field of influence. But the means that you use to create successful businesses, because you did not clearly define that, could actually be unethical. And that is something that we've seen a lot in the coaching and consulting space as of late. I mean, not as of late. I mean, it's been a while that we've been seeing it. But you see people, they're building so-called successful businesses that don't appear to have any type of ethical or moral compass. And so this is something that I work on with my clients. When we're building the brand core, we look at the values, and that's why the why is there at the very heart of it. We look at the values because that energy is then projected into your field of influence. So, as I said, you got to internalize the values into the core because it feeds into the field of influence. When you change your values, that changes the tone and nature of your field of influence. It changes the experience. It changes the experience for the people who are in that sphere of influence. And the reason why this is important is because it changes the nature of the people that you attract. The people that you attract also help add to the energy of your field of influence. And so consider that when you are in a room full of people, if you are hearing someone speak and the point of the person speaking is to get people riled up, right? They want to, let's say it's like a mob and they're building everybody to almost like an angry fervor. That's why they call it the mob mentality, because all of you catch it. You might not have been as angry if you were sitting in your house by yourself reading about it. But because you are in this room, you are energetically, emotionally influenced by the other people around you. Conversely, imagine being in church and hearing other people's testimonies and then being moved to tears or being moved to this type of expressive emotion. Imagine being at a conference where there's a motivational speaker. You may not have been nearly as influenced if you had been reading their book by themselves, but because you are sitting in the audience and picking up on all of the other energies of the other people, that is the concept I am applying to the brand sphere of influence or the brand magnetic field of influence. Because when we are all together, even here in our Facebook group, when we're all together here, we are energetically exchanging different things. And so the people you have in that sphere of influence, the people who you allow to be there, the people that you have attracted, sustain your brand as well. They put energy into it as well. And that's why a community is so very much about the people. A brand is very much about the people who embody it. All right. So I've got about 2 minutes left. And so another perspective I'll offer to you is same concepts. Instead of brand core, consider the brand spirit, right? So it's the same thing. And then instead of brand like magnetic field of influence, consider brand collective consciousness. So let's say I am working on breathing life into the spirit of my business. I am working on breathing life into my brand spirit, and I'm pouring my values into it, and I'm pouring my energy into it. And as a result, imagine it almost like an aura. But because I'm putting so much into it and I'm attracting people into it, the aura extends to include others besides myself. And then it becomes something of a collective consciousness where we all are, again, emotionally, we have this emotional and energy type of exchange that magnifies the brand. More people become aware of the brand and more people become attracted to the brand. And we're all kind of contributing to this collective consciousness that would then be the brand. And so then you have to consider how important it is to be careful who you are exchanging energy with. What brands are you exchanging energy with? And if you look at your brand that way, whether it's a brand core and then a brand magnetic field of influence, or you're looking at it from the brand spirit and collective consciousness perspective, and this is a question I asked on my personal profile, if we accept moral responsibility for the energetic exchanges of our brand, how would that change our marketing? Right? But I'd also ask you, how would it change your networking? How would it change your buying? How would it change your partnering? And so I believe that a brand is basically the core. It's the spirit, but as a result, it gives you a certain amount of responsibility. It gives you a certain amount of responsibility. And I'm going to go deeper into these topics throughout the week because it is a really big concept. It's something that I am still formulating. So please, I would very much appreciate your patience. I would love your questions because I'm going to continue brainstorming on it and journaling it. But what I think I've kind of mentally stumbled upon here is a deeper understanding of what it means to build a brand and to build a community and what that means for me as the brand creator, but also what it means for you as someone who is participating in my brand and what it means for our relationship and my responsibilities again as that creator. So I know it's very big and it's kind of deep. It's very exciting for me though. I'm looking at it. I was inspired by quantum physics. I'm inspired by some new theories on the understanding of consciousness. And so that's kind of what I'm bringing to the table here. And I'm looking forward to kind of continuing to explore this throughout the week. Keep in mind, next Tuesday, I do have the Why Workshop. It's the second iteration of the Why Workshop. If you want to be there and continue to kind of absorb this type of energy, send me a comment, send me a DM. I have a landing page this time around, so I'm more than happy to send the landing page to you. It includes some testimonials from people who attended the first time. And if you want one of the, now I think we have 8 or 9 spots left. I know one or two people have already secured their spots. So if you want a spot, do be sure to let me know soon. They went pretty fast last time. So that's kind of the end of the content portion here. And I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at the comments that I've got. And if you have any questions, do drop those in the comments. So that way I can, explore this more. Okay. So first comment, yes, when the core is understood, the energy will flow and bring people in naturally and even greater relationship building. And that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And the bigger, and so this is interesting, carrying the kind of planet metaphor even further. The bigger a planet is, the larger its gravity is, right? So that means it has more of an attractive magnetic nature. So when you're building your brand, it starts out as small, and that's your core, right? And your core generates your field of influence the same way that a planet's core generates its electromagnetic field, which actually protects it as well. But that's like a whole scientific journey. But yes, you build a brand, and the difference between you and the planet is that your brand will continue to grow as long as you continue to nurture it. And as it grows, the ability, the attractive nature of your brand will also increase as you add more people to it, and your brand starts to flesh out. And so what we're looking at here is brand. People talk about brand as like marketing assets and your audience size, and that's true. That's true. But what I really want to place emphasis on here is that the brand, essentially, like when you're really looking from a powerful standpoint and continue to attract people, because that's what you're looking to do, your brand is like a community. And that's why I kind of lean on that field of influence and the collective consciousness concepts. Okay. So Sean says, that's why I've done my show for so long. I wanted to be of service to people where they needed it once I discovered my why. And that is why the why is so important. It informs everything else. And it allows you, so I love the why, and this is why I picked it as an exercise. But we often ask business owners, hey, go ahead and tell us about your audience and their pain points and what they're thinking and all of this other stuff. But you haven't yet taken the time to go through an exercise like the Why workshop to even learn how to tap your own emotions. You haven't explored why you love, deeply explored why you love to do what it is that you do. And so the easiest and hardest, so I guess I'll say the simplest and sometimes hardest exercise for people is learning how to bring up those emotions in themselves. Bring up the emotions in yourself. And then that gets you way closer to understanding how to cause those emotions in other people, because people say marketing is meant to cause an action, but people often forget that the lever used for that action is emotion. So marketing is meant to cause an emotion, which then causes people to take action. How are you causing that emotion? And one of the best ways to start is to learn what causes you to take action every single day. And that's your why. All right, I'm getting some love. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Sean. Yes, the spots. I am anticipating that the spots will go fast. I've been talking about it in the group a bit more. Like I said, if you're interested, like this is not a hey, go to my workshop, go to my workshop, and if you express interest, I'm going to punch you in the face. Like that's not the nature of what it is that I do. If you say, hey, Ruthie, can you send me the link for your workshop? I'm going to send you the link. And then I may remind you just because if you intend on going and then you message me later telling me, oh, I really wanted to come, but the spots are all filled. Like, there's not, I have a very serious intent for this workshop. So I have to leave it at the number of spots that I've got it at. So I just don't want you to forget. But it's not about shoving something in your face that you don't need. Right. So if you express interest, I'll probably remind you like once. And then after that, it's like, it's up to you. Maybe you're too busy, whatever it is. So the spots went fast last time. I am anticipating that the spots will go fast as well. This time tomorrow, I'm speaking at a networking event with people who've, kind of been in my circle and my network before. And I'm going to be talking about infusing your brand with radical authenticity. And the why will come up. So I anticipate that spots will go at that event as well. So if you are interested in this, just shoot me a DM. It's something we could talk about. I plan on holding the why workshop more than once. So if it's like, hey, Ruthie, I'm interested. Let me check out the landing page. Maybe I can't make that date. Keep me in mind for the next one type of thing. Then that's just how the conversation goes. All right. So, and then Steve, yes, the why brings clarity. Once you have the why, I never say that your decisions will be easy. Your decisions may not necessarily be easy, but the way forward will be clear. When you understand the why, it's no longer a matter of, oh, I don't know what to do. My decisions, like it's so hard to make the decision. No, the decision itself becomes easy to make. It may be harder to execute because you're choosing a hard right? A hard right, a correct right for you. You may be making that choice. And so the decision and actual implementation of it is harder, but you will have clarity around those decisions. And so that's probably one of my favorite parts of the why is it becomes a filter for everything. It becomes a filter for business choices of all types, not just marketing, but also your sales and what that looks like, your business operations, the strategic partnerships that you choose to have. But when I look at it from the marketing perspective, your why helps you tap emotions. Your why helps you tap emotions internally, which allows you to better empathize with your audience. And again, marketing is meant to cause emotions that lead to actions. And the why helps you learn how to cause those emotions in yourself, which you can then practice and work on causing in other people. And that's just an emotional intelligence thing. If you can't identify emotions in yourself, you are going to struggle to identify emotions in other people. And so that's why emotional intelligence and radical authenticity go so very much hand in hand. All right. So that is the end of my comments. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time. I'm very much kind of liking this style here where we go through the content and, my planned content for the live stream and then kind of get to go back through the questions. It keeps it, very much on track. And yeah, I will see you all. So Wednesday, I don't go live because I'm supposed to be doing schoolwork and stuff. Tomorrow, I will be presenting for a group called Networking in Annapolis. It's a virtual event. So if you want to pop in, let me know and I'll send you the invite for that on Facebook. And so I will be back on Thursday with another live stream, probably diving deeper into the brand core and looking at how those elements play together, the why, the audience, and the offer. So I will see you on Thursday and out and about here on Facebook. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you on Thursday. Oh, Sean says he will be there. All right. So that'll be exciting because that means I'm like bringing some new faces into the group. So it should be a good time. Thank you so much. And I will see y'all on Thursday or Wednesday if you're at the event.